question is this relation a function? How do you know if a relation is a function or not?
If it passes the vertical line test.
If it passes the vertical line test, if it's a graph. So if it's a graph, does it pass the vertical line test? This one does. This one does not. Right? But what if it's just a series of ordered pairs? Then you look at the x values. Do any of the x values repeat? No. So is it a function? Yes. And that's always kind of weird for people, right? Because I'm like, do the x values repeat? You go, no. I go, okay, yes. And it's like, well, that just said no. No, they don't repeat. So yes, it is a function. That's the idea there. Now, what's the domain? The domain is -2, -1, 1/2, 3, and 5. Now, here's my question. Can we write that as -2, 5?
Yeah. Sure. No. Yeah.
No. Right now, people go like this. Yes, no, maybe. If the mood hits us right. You see, why can we not say -2 to 5? This includes every number from -2 to 5. And some of you are going like this. Oh, 0 is not there. 0 is only one of the infinitely many points that aren't there. -2 to 5 includes all decimals. It includes pi. I mean, it includes everything from -2 to 5. This only includes 5 points. Okay? Now, cross that with what we did the other day. You remember the other day I gave you a graph that looked like this? Something like that. And I gave you a bunch of points. I gave you a point here, a point here, a point here, a point here, so forth and so on. Even though I only gave you 5 points, that's still a graph. So that's still interval notation. So you wouldn't write the domain as a series of ordered pairs where you'd list them like this. You would write that as -infinity to, let's say whatever that point is. We'll call that point 8, -6. You'd say the domain is -infinity to 8 because it's a graph. Okay, if it's not a graph, you cannot use interval notation. Does everybody understand that? Okay. What's the range?
-2, -1, 0, 6.
-2, -1, 0, and 6. -2, -1, 0, and 6. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay. All right. How do you find out from -4? -4 squared plus 3 times -4 plus 2. 16 minus 12 plus 2 is 6. Okay. All right. How are you going to do this one? Okay, you can do -3 and 2 if you want to. You could also do 5 and 4, or 4 and 5. Okay, you could do 4 and 5. That makes this -20, makes this +20. Or you can do -3 and 2 if you want to. It doesn't matter. Okay. All right, so we'll do -3 and 2, just so he feels good about himself. You'll still get the same answers, yeah. -6x plus 15y equals 18. 6x plus 4y equals -14.
Isn't it 8y?
Thank God.
And -28?
No. Yes. It's 8y and negative 28 and negative 18. What the hell? I jacked that up all good. I'm sorry. Negative 28 and 8y. I apologize. Add straight down. 23y equals 46 negative. Divide by 23, divide by 23. Y equals negative 2. We straight? All right, if y is negative 2, what's x? Well, plug it in. 3x plus 4 times negative 2 equals negative 14. 3x, add 8 equals negative 6. X equals negative 2. So it looks like you get two answers, negative 2 and negative 2. Any questions on that?
Try turning that off.
We're good. All right, the 2-word problems. 2-word problems. The 2-word problems. What's your answer?
Huh? I didn't read it.
How many children and how many adults went? A bunch. All right. How do we figure this out? Well, let's suppose for a minute that X is the number of children who went, and Y is the number of adults who went. Do I know how many people went all together?
2,200.
X plus Y is equal to 2,200, right? Sorry to bore you. Okay. Now remember, that was part of what we said, right? Remember what we said? X plus Y has got to be equal to some total, right? And then what I said? Something X plus something Y has got to be equal to some number, right? That number is either going to be a percentage of a final value or a final value. Okay? So every child pays $1.50, so it's 1.50x plus 4.00y equals what? How much money did we collect? 50-50. Okay. Is that okay? Let me pause there for station identification. All right. Multiply them by 100. Do you have two equations, Bernard, or do you only have one? Because when I saw you only have one. You need two. You can't solve if you only have one. 150x plus 400y. You could have just as easily sorry to bore you. You could have just as easily multiplied through by 10. It's up to you. Okay. 10 would have made this 15, and that would have gotten the job done as well. All right. Too late now. You told me to do 100. Negative 150, negative 150, negative 150. So this is negative 150x minus 150y equals whatever the heck that multiplies out to.
Where do you get
Make these cancel. Right? What's 2200 times 150? 22 times 15. 22 times 15 is 220. One. Just. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. So 22 times 15. 22 times 10 is 210. And then 22 times 5 is 110. 220, 110 is 330. 2,200 times 150, 330,000. Do we agree? Thank you for pointing that out. It would be negative. Does somebody have a calculator or not?
I do on my phone.
Screw it. I think I'm right. And that's all that really matters. 250y equals 175,000. Is that right? You know what? How about it's right?
Where did you get the 250 from?
400 minus 150.
Don't forget the negative.
It's not negative anymore. It's positive.
It's not negative.
400 minus 150 is 250. 505 minus 330 is 175. Divide by 250. Divide by 250.
717.
How much is it? 700. Thanks, Hope. All right. If 700 adults went, how many children went? How many?
1,500.
Oh, I thought you said a few hundred. I was like, yeah, there's a few. 1,500, right? Because if 2,200 people went all together, 700 were adults, 1,500 were children.
That's supposed to be a small fair.
Polk City Fair. Polk City's going like this. We ain't got 2,200 people in there. Don't even try it. How many people live there, you think? 17, 18? Around. I don't think he does either. You know, I'm just giving you a hard time, right? Like, I have nothing personal against Polk City. I've never even been there.
You probably have. You just drove right back out.
I don't think I have. I mean, right now, if somebody said drive to Polk City, I'd be like, shit. There's $1 million waiting for you. Damn it.
It's like right next to Opperdale, isn't it?
Yeah, like that.
Like you drive through it.
Oh, I thought that was Lake Alfred. So people from Lake Alfred going like this, don't you even start. You leave about 2 stop signs alone. All right. A pharmacist needs 100. Pharmacist needs 100 liters of 50% alcohol, but he only has 30% and 80%. What's he supposed to do? People are going like this. Order the 50%. Order what you need. How many liters of each will be required to make the 100 liters of 50% solution? Got to have 2 equations, right? The first one's going to be what? X plus Y equals 100. X plus Y equals 100. Now, something X. So 0.3X plus 0.8Y equals 0.5 times 100. Why? Because the final mixture is 50% of 100. Okay. How do I get rid of the decimals?
Times 10.
Multiply by 10. So you're going to get x plus y equals 100. 3x plus 8y equals 500. What can I multiply by? Two choices.
-3.
-3 is one.
-8.
-8's the other.
Where'd you get the 500?
Yeah.
The 0.5 times.
10 times 0.5 is 5. 5 times 100 is 500. Good question. Okay. All right, we're going to multiply through by -3. So we're going to get -3x minus 3y equals -300. 5y equals 200. And y is equal to 40. If y is 40, how much is x? It's 100 total, right? X is 60. If y is 40, x is 60. Where did I lose you at? Say it again, please.
So how'd you go from 500 to 400?
No. Good question. How did I go from 500 to 300? I didn't. I multiplied -3 times the top equation, and when I did that, I wrote it down here. So this equation stayed the same. I was solving these two, and then I multiplied by -3 so that I could solve these two. Okay. X is y is 40, x is 60. Yes. All right. Any questions on that? Going once?